Drinking buddies, you're going to want to stay tuned for this one because we got everything from Dusties to unicorns to craft. Let's go.
I'm your drinking buddy.
All right, drinking buddies. So I think I may have gotten my ultimate unicorn today. You tell me in the comments down below if it's your ultimate unicorn too. So, but first we're going to start off with this awesome Dusty Jack Daniels. This is still when it was 86 proof. And yeah, it looks like there's some sediment in here. I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited to open it. It's from 1997. It's a Dusty Jack Daniels. And we're just going to pop this right here, right now and have some. I'm a big fan of Old Number 7. I know a lot of people aren't, but I think it's a great whiskey for being, low proof. It's one that I never really have around on my shelf, but I order it out when I know that I can't get great whiskey at a bar or a wedding, or I'm on the moon, because you can get Jack Daniels anywhere. Smells good. Smells like Jack. All right, 86 proof Jack Daniels Old Number 7. So the modern one, in 2002 they changed it to 80 proof. It used to be 86. It smells pretty good. The smell is, the nose is just very like caramel brown sugar vibes, just like sweet. None of that banana that I get off the nose off modern Jack. Let's see if it's on the palate. Oh, yeah. It's like more tobacco-y Old Number 7. It's got the banana. It's got like the caramel vibes you get off modern Jack, but just with like a really nice tobacco note. It's not as sweet as modern Jack. I mean, there is sweetness here, but modern Jack is like really sweet. So, yeah, that's pretty good. I'm really excited to have that in the bar. I'm a huge Jack Daniels fan, as you guys know, and having a Dusty is really cool. We're gonna start with one that was picked up for me by a buddy in Phoenix. I got this Bull Run 16-year American whiskey, so that's that MGP 99-1. It's 124.22 proof. It's not finished. 16-year American whiskey. Phenomenal bottle. I really like it. You wouldn't guess it's a bourbon by the color, especially 16-year bourbon, because it's not a bourbon. It's American whiskey. Not aged in charred new oak. It would have been aged in a used barrel. Really good stuff, though. Really good stuff. Let's do craft next. So for craft, I grabbed this Corbin Cash Mercied Rye Whiskey. Mercied? I don't know. Merced Rye Whiskey, a single barrel, aged 8 years. This is an El Cerrito liquor pick at 132 proof. And it's got like the coolest tater sticker, Corbinite. Anyway, delicious bottle, as you can see. I split this one with a buddy. That's why it's fairly low already. And we did it in no, we didn't do it in a blind. Anyway, it's low because I split it with a buddy. Very good whiskey. This is a top 5 rye I own. I can't wait to get a review out of this one because at $125, I want to buy a backup. That's how good it is. Next up, a buddy of mine, Zach, was in Alabama visiting the Detling distillery, and he picked me up a Detling bourbon single barrel. So it's a cast strength single barrel at, 116.7 proof. And this thing is bomb. I really like this whiskey. It absolutely smashed Stag 24D in a blind that I did with some friends. I think this is a great whiskey. I think it's one of the better craft bourbons that I own. I think for me, craft ryes really deliver, and sometimes craft bourbons are a little bit hit or miss. And this is hit. Buy Detling if you can come across it. Next up, I was able to get another Elmer. I know I got an Elmer in the last video, but I don't know what the deal with Arizona and Elmer is, but I was able to get Elmer for myself and Elmer for a couple buddies in the Discord and the channel, the channel members. So they were able to get some Elmer as well. I don't know what it is with Arizona and Elmer, but Elmer loves Arizona. I might end up trading this. I might end up keeping it. I might letting somebody buy it from me for what I paid for it. I don't know, but Elmer, pretty cool. Elmer T. Lee, 90 proof, out of Buffalo Trace. So there's our tater bottle. So we got Craft, Dusty. We've got one more Craft here. This is the Smoke Eye Hill, aged 5 years, barrel proof, and it is 134.2 proof. And this is, I grabbed this at Total Wine because I needed to use a coupon. I didn't see anything else I wanted to buy, and I really wanted to use that coupon before it expired. And this is a pretty good whiskey. It might be, like, it's weaker than this, it's weaker than this, it's weaker than this, but it's still a pretty good whiskey. I think it got way overhyped. People were talking about it like as a GTS killer, and it's not even a stag killer. It's not as good as any stag batches I own, including, some of the weaker ones. Like, I think 24C and 24D were fairly weak for me. This is not even close to those two for me. So I would probably pass on it if I were you, just purely because I don't think it's as good as the hype around it, but it's not a bad whiskey. It's just kind of overhyped. And then lastly, also a Total Wine. The Total Wine raffle has, came and gone. And I got a rejection email immediately, and didn't think much about it. But I had forgotten that a good close friend of mine at work is a wine drinker and a cocktail drinker. And she doesn't ever really pour whiskey or spirits neat at all. And so she told me if she won anything, it was mine. And I had no idea what she would win, because this is crazy. When I picked it up, they confirmed they only had one bottle. They had to call her to make sure she was okay with me buying it, and I had to have the email, so she forwarded it to me. They checked my email, or they checked my ID to make sure it was me. So she said who it was, who was picking it up, all that. So I did have to jump through some hoops, and so did she, to be able to pick this up. But dang, they only got one. Pappy 15. So yeah, it's 107 proof, and I'm not sure that sub-barrel proof whiskey gets much better than this. I'm not sure that 15-year-old bourbon gets much better than this. Is GTS better on an average year? I would say yeah. Is William Lou Weller better than this on a regular year? Yeah. But sometimes you get a really special Pappy Van Winkle 15, and it's better than the rest. And I remember tasting last year's, so this is 2024's Pappy Van Winkle 15, and thinking, wow, this is special. This is maybe one of the better whiskeys I've ever tasted. And so I'm kind of at a rock and a hard place, because the trade value on this thing, you guys might know, is insane. So I'm considering trading it, or I'm considering opening it. But by the time I posted this video, it will either be opened or traded. I've kind of decided to not post this until I've made that decision, just because I'd kind of like to maybe not advertise to the world that I have a bottle of Pappy 15 unopened sitting at my house. So by the time I post this, it will either be open, or I will have traded it off and it's not here anymore. So that's kind of how crazy the whiskey market is nowadays. I have to think about things like that. You wouldn't think that I'd have to think about things like that. But yeah, I mean, when this thing is as rare as it is, it's a good idea to think about that. Well, drinking buddies, what do you think is the coolest bottle I got up here? What is your ultimate unicorn? Because I think that's this for me. Either this or King of Kentucky was my top two that I had left, that I had never been able to get. And I think I'd rather have this than a King of Kentucky, just purely because just the hype around it, the history, the bottle, everything. Man, I'm just so happy to have it. It's pretty cool. I think I'm leaning towards opening it, and I might just do that as soon as I'm done filming this, just so that I can't trade it. If I open it, I can't trade it. So I might just do that. Man, this Dusty Jack, thanks, Mike, for that. I really appreciate it, Mike. Really cool. Awesome that I was able to enjoy this. Really cool. Thank you. And well, cheers, drinking buddies. I thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you. Every time you guys like these videos, every time you guys subscribe to the channel, you make this thing possible. I couldn't do it without you. And drop a comment down below what your ultimate unicorn is. Cheers.
I'm your drinking buddy.